Let's be honest. If you're anything like me, you probably think New Year's resolutions are, well, kind of a joke, right? Every single year, it's the same old story. We swear this is the year we're going to change, and yet, we almost never do. But what if the problem isn't about our willpower? What if we've been playing the whole game wrong from the start?
Just to show you how much this feeling hits home for everyone, just an article about why we fail to change ourselves got over 35 million views on Twitter in a single day. I mean, think about that. It wasn't some viral video, it was just words. It obviously struck a massive nerve because it wasn't selling a quick fix. It was talking about that deep, real frustration that pretty much all of us feel.
And yeah, that brings us right to the big question we're going to unpack here. Why? Why do we put ourselves through this same frustrating cycle year after year? Why do all our best intentions just seem to, dissolve into thin air by the time February rolls around? All right, let's get into it.
First, let's talk about something we all know way too well. This ritual of failure. That predictable, frustrating loop of setting huge goals in January, only to be right back where we started just a few weeks later.
You know how it goes. It all kicks off with this huge burst of energy. This is my year. We're feeling disciplined, we're motivated, we are on it. And then it feels like it happens overnight. Suddenly it's February, all that momentum is just gone. And we're breathing the same air, living the same life. It feels like we just let out this massive scream into the void, and then silence again.
So what's the deal? Here's the core idea. The problem isn't your discipline, and it's not your motivation either. The problem is you are laser-focused on changing your actions when you should be trying to change your identity.
And this right here, this is the whole game. The wrong way is all about actions, the what to do. It's a constant, exhausting battle of willpower. But the right approach, it's all about identity, the who to be. See, when you change your identity, the right actions just happen. They become natural, automatic even. Trying to build a new life with your old identity, it's like trying to run brand new software on an ancient, totally incompatible operating system. It's just going to keep crashing.
Just let that one sink in for a second. This is the heart of it all. You're not in the shape you want to be in because you're not the kind of person who is in that shape. You don't have the business you want because you're not the person who runs that business. The real change has to happen at the level of being, not just doing.
And this is a perfect way to think about it. You think a serious bodybuilder struggles every day to eat healthy? No way. In fact, they'd actually struggle to eat junk food. It would feel wrong, maybe even disgusting, because it completely violates who they are. Their habits aren't some chore they have to force themselves to do. They're just a natural expression of their identity. Okay, so if changing your identity is the key, then why is it so ridiculously hard? Well, it's because there's this invisible force at play. Your brain is already achieving goals. You just don't know what they are. So let's uncover these secret goals of yours.
Now, this is a total game changer of a question. Every single thing you do, even the stuff that feels like self-sabotage, is actually trying to achieve a goal. You're in action. It isn't a failure. It's a roaring success, but for a totally different, unconscious objective. So the real question isn't why can't I change? The real question is, what am I secretly getting out of staying exactly where I am?
You see, procrastination has nothing to do with being lazy. Think of it more like a really clever defense mechanism. It's a highly successful strategy to achieve one very specific goal, avoiding judgment. Because, hey, as long as the work isn't finished, no one can criticize it, right? You're safe.
And the exact same logic applies to staying in that dead-end job or that bad situation. It might feel miserable on the surface, but underneath, it's achieving a super important unconscious goal. And that goal is safety. It's predictability. And it gives you a ready-made excuse for why your life isn't quite where you want it to be.
So let's just get one thing perfectly straight. You are not broken. You are not a failure. Your mind is simply doing what it was designed to do. Protect you. It is successfully and very effectively achieving the goal of keeping your current, safe identity completely intact, even if that identity is the very thing holding you back.
All right, we figured out the problem. We know what's going on under the hood. Now for the good part, the solution. Let's talk about a practical, one-day reset designed to kickstart a real, lasting transformation. So, the whole thing is broken down into 3 parts. In the morning, you do what's called a psychological excavation, to dig up all those hidden motives. Then, throughout the day, you use these little strategic prompts to interrupt your brain's autopilot. And then finally, in the evening, you pull it all together and turn your insights into a real plan.
Now, this process doesn't start with a happy dream.
It starts with a nightmare. You're going to create something called an anti-vision. This isn't about what you want your life to be. It's a detailed, brutally honest vision of where you'll end up in, say, 5 or 10 years if absolutely nothing changes. Because if you don't truly hate it, you will absolutely tolerate it.
And this is maybe one of the most powerful questions in that whole excavation process. I mean, really imagine it. You're at the very end. You played it safe your whole life. You never took the risk. You stayed the same. What was the real cost of that? What did you never let yourself feel or try or become? That pain, that is the fuel you need for real change. So once you have that fuel, that deep emotional reason to finally change, you need a way to channel it. And maybe the most effective way to do that is to stop looking at your life as a long list of chores and start seeing it as a game.
This breaks it down so perfectly. Your vision, that's how you win the game. Your anti-vision, that's what's at stake if you lose. It's the high stakes. Your one-year goal becomes the main mission you're on. Your monthly project, that's the current boss you have to defeat. And your daily actions are just the little quests you do to level up and gain experience points. All of a sudden, your life has rules, it has stakes, and it has a clear path to victory.
The real power of this whole thing is that it creates this kind of psychological force field around your mind. When the game you're playing is this clear and this compelling, all those distractions and shiny new objects, they just bounce right off. You're no longer being pulled in a million different directions. You're being pulled almost obsessively towards your mission, towards winning the game that you designed for yourself.
And you know, this idea of redesigning your inner world to change your outer world, it's not new. It's timeless wisdom, and it's captured so beautifully here in this verse from the Quran. Real, lasting change isn't about fighting your circumstances or trying to change the world around you. All meaningful transformation starts with an internal shift, a change in what is within yourself.
So we're going to end this not with the summary, but with a decision. Change begins the very moment you decide to let go of the old to make room for the new. So, looking at this final question, what is the one story, the one limitation, the one piece of your old identity that you are truly willing to sacrifice? Starting tomorrow, the game is waiting for you.